Hey guys, it's Simmy, and this is Wrestling Unlimited as it's Friday, and tonight was Friday Night Smackdown. As far as tonight's Friday Night Smackdown does go, and my chair is stuck here. Hold on, give me one sec. There we go. It was like locked up and didn't want to move or anything. As far as tonight's Friday Night Smackdown does go, I actually enjoyed the show a lot. I thought it had a lot of good wrestling. I thought good story to build up stuff going forward, like for Elimination Chamber and even WrestleMania. A little disappointed with the Triple H stuff to open the show, and we'll get to that. Because it's not like, oh, I thought it was bad, but I thought there was going to be more playing off of the press conference last night. And when there really wasn't, it was just like, oh, this is official. This is all it is. We'll see. I'll talk about it, and I'll give you my thoughts. But overall, I thought this was a really good episode of SmackDown. Had a lot of good matches. A lot of matches with stakes, which I really like. And it seems like Raw and SmackDown going forward for at least the next week or two, going to have a lot of emphasis on these matches are important for this reason. And a lot of Elimination Chamber qualifying matches going forward. They didn't really do what they said they were going to do last week as far as Logan Paul's next challenger. They put him in a chamber qualifier as well, which means he's probably going to be in the chamber against The Miz or when he beats The Miz next week. So it's like, there was something they announced last week they ended up not doing today. I didn't put it in my SmackDown preview because it wasn't on their website this morning. And so I had people in the comments, maybe just one or two people, but whatever. They were like, yeah, you missed the Logan Paul challenger announcement. I'm like, I didn't miss it. It's not on their website, so I'm not putting it in my preview if they're not advertising and hyping it up as well, if that makes sense. Like they announced it last week, and then they didn't hype it up today, and they didn't even do it tonight. They just played off of, hey, I thought we were going to do this and that and so forth. So we'll get into all that. We'll talk SmackDown and everything. But before I get into all that, I want to say thank you for joining us here. Twitch.tv/PWU Unlimited, YouTube.com/Pro Wrestling Unlimited, and podcast services all around the globe like Stitcher, Spotify, Google Pod, Apple Pod, Anchor, iHeartRadio, and so much more. Remember, if you are watching live on Twitch, you can help us out a couple of different ways. You can either help us out by donating Twitch bits in the live chat. That's also a good way to get your comment, question, or concern read live on the air. Or you can subscribe to the channel one of two different ways. You can either subscribe with a tiered subscription, or you can subscribe with Amazon Prime. Because remember, if you have Amazon Prime, then you have Prime Gaming. Prime Gaming gives you a lot of cool things like free games, free stuff for games, and you always get one free subscription to any Twitch channel you want to subscribe to throughout the month. And I'd greatly appreciate it if you did right here for Wrestling Unlimited. Also, remember to head over to YouTube and do a couple things for me over there. Hit that subscribe button. That way you know when we go live. That way you know when we post new videos and post things to the community tab. Also, hit that join button to become a channel member. A great way to support the channel. And also remember, if you want to get your comment, question, or concern read during a live stream, you can do so by donating a super chat or a super sticker. Finally, head over to the Epic Games Store. Head over to the Epic Games Store and buy something. Whether you're buying a new game, whether you're buying an old game, whether you're claiming a free game or getting bucks for Rocket League, Fortnite, or Fall Guys, use this code right here, PW Unlimited at checkout, and you will be supporting us at no extra cost. Again, go over there and claim something. Whether you're getting Doki Doki Literature Club, which is free right now, or, Lost Castle, which is free right now. Claim both of those games and put in this code, PWUNLIMITED. Heck, next week, we're getting Dakar Rally for free. Dakar Rally. I played that game. That game's fun. It's a good off-road desert racing game. I can't wait till we get it for free next week. It's also made by Saber, and Saber makes great off-road stuff. So, I'm just telling you that right there. That's another big free game to download next week. They just recently did a big update on it as well in the fall. So yeah, next week we're getting Dakar Rally for free. You might want to claim that on the Epic Games Store. But with all of that, use the code PW Unlimited for all Epic Games and Epic Games Store purchases. As far as SmackDown does go, Corey Graves welcomes us to the show. Excuse me. Welcomes us to the show as a video of Triple H walking in backstage plays. There was then a recap of the WrestleMania 40 press conference from last night, and then we're back in the arena as Triple H's music hits, and he comes out. Nick Olson and Adam Pearce, the two general managers, are already in the ring for the segment. The crowd is chanting for Triple H, and Triple H opens it up by saying that it feels like they're on the road to WrestleMania. He followed that up by saying that the press conference Thursday kicked off the journey down the road to WrestleMania. Crowd then chants Rocky sucks. Hunter says it felt like there was confusion in the air because, quote, some people don't know their role. One of a few jabs taken at The Rock. Like if Triple H didn't have his heart condition, I would think that they're building up Rock versus Triple H. Hunter then mentions that somebody tried to assert their authority and they don't have any authority. He followed this up by saying there's only one person who has authority, and it's him. Hunter then made the announcement that it is official. Main event of WrestleMania will be Roman Reigns defending his title against Cody Rhodes. Crowd chants for Cody. Hunter then says the decision might disappoint some people, and then says, it doesn't matter if you like that decision, and tried to somewhat say it like The Rock. Again, he said, and it doesn't matter if you like that decision. I'm like, oh, what? We can't get Triple H versus The Rock, and they're teasing Triple H and The Rock. Like if somehow Triple H has been miraculously like cured and cleared from his heart condition, oh boy. He then finished it off by saying, welcome to the road to WrestleMania. Then things got a little confusing. But before we get into that, I'm a little disappointed in this because Triple H said on Twitter, oh, we're going to talk about the press conference. We're going to deal with the fallout from all of that. And like he did, but really didn't. Like there's no repercussions on The Rock. There's no repercussions on Roman for any of that last night. Like The Rock slapped Cody and he's just whatever about it. So Rock and Roman will be on the show next week and we'll see if Triple H is there, if Cody's there, and how that all does play out. So that Aldis steps up. And I say this is weird because Aldis steps up and starts announcing what Seth Rollins is going to do at WrestleMania, even though Seth Rollins is the Raw champion and the Raw general manager is just standing there. Like, what? Huh? Why wasn't Pierce announcing any of this? Anyways, Aldis says that Seth Rollins will defend the World Heavyweight Championship at WrestleMania against the winner of an upcoming Elimination Chamber match. Aldis then said, now I'm going to hand it off to Adam Pearce because this is a collective decision that we have made in picking who will qualify for that match, who will get a qualifying match, who will get a qualifying opportunity for the Elimination Chamber. They then go on to show a graphic on the screen of 12 men, including Randy Orton, Bronson Reed, Kevin Owens, Logan Paul, AJ Styles, The Miz, Bobby Lashley, Ivar, Drew McIntyre, Sami Zayn, LA Knight, and Dominic Mysterio. They state that all 12 of these men will battle in Elimination Chamber qualifying matches to set the field. And our first match, starting right now, Drew McIntyre and AJ Styles. So, yeah, like we expected coming out of Raw, Seth will defend the title against somebody who's going to win the Chamber. Originally, CM Punk was supposed to win the Chamber. But then, of course, Punk got hurt and not going to wrestle at WrestleMania. So now I think, if I'm just predicting, I think Drew comes out the winner. I think Drew McIntyre wins the Elimination Chamber and then gets the match with Seth Rollins at WrestleMania. Not going to be a main event. I think it's going to happen on night 2, and I'm still steadfast. I'm still holding steady that night 1 is Roman and The Rock against Cody and Seth. I think that is the night 1 main event, and then the night 2 main event is Cody and Roman, with Cody defeating Roman. So McIntyre would make his way out to the ring, and Drew thanked everyone for feeling the same way about CM Punk that he does. Drew said the Punk won't get any profits from the T-shirt that Drew has been wearing featuring Punk's grave. McIntyre took credit for Cody choosing Roman and said, quote, you're welcome, to the crowd. McIntyre said that he's going to save the world title by winning the Elimination Chamber, and then he would give WWE a champion who is best for business. Styles then made his entrance, and the show went to a commercial break, but not before LA Knight would come out. So, well, actually, no, LA Knight came out right after the break. So, before we get back to the match, they show Sami Zayn and Randy Orton arriving and say that these two will face off tonight in an Elimination Chamber qualifying matches, or a qualifying match. Then we go back to the ring. The match is about to start. LA Knight's music hits. LA Knight. And he goes down to commentary and plays a part in the finish of this match. This match goes 11 minutes and 20 seconds or so. Styles went after McIntyre's knee to begin the match. I'm like, McIntyre dealing with a knee injury or a faux knee injury, kayfabe knee injury. I didn't know he was dealing with a knee thing, but AJ went after it and they worked it the entire match. McIntyre chopped the hell out of Styles, though. Took Styles down. Styles then went for a splash, but McIntyre caught Styles and slammed him. McIntyre then hit more chops until Styles stood right back up and chopped McIntyre himself, who eventually hit a backbreaker to keep control. Styles then fired up with the drop kick and went to Drew's knee yet again. Styles went to the top and McIntyre chopped Styles off the top to the floor on the outside. From there, McIntyre threw Styles into the timekeeper's area and the show went to a commercial break. When we come back from the break, the match was in the ring and Styles landed a tornado DDT. Styles followed this up by kicking McIntyre's knee and landing a running elbow. Styles then fired the crowd up, and I'm like, oh, is he a babyface? I don't know. So, I mean, Drew's a heel-ish. Styles then set up for the Styles Clash, but McIntyre countered and ran Styles into the corner. McIntyre lifted Styles and went to the second rope, but Styles countered into a running powerbomb for a 2. Crowd starts chanting, "This is awesome." Styles then lifted McIntyre, well, tried to at least, and Drew got out of it and landed a Future Shock DDT. McIntyre sold knee pain while setting up for the finisher. Drew then ran at Styles, but Styles moved and worked a calf crusher until McIntyre got to the ropes for the break. Styles then went for a springboard, but McIntyre caught Styles and threw him to the floor. Styles then hit an enziguri before McIntyre threw Styles over the commentary table. Knight then poured water on Styles, grabbed a water bottle and just dipped it over the side of the announce table right in AJ's face, and AJ got all pissed off and shoved him. Styles and McIntyre got back into the ring. Styles rolls up McIntyre, but Knight distracts the referee. As a result, the two get to their feet. Styles gets to his feet. Drew kind of like wobbles to his feet, but then realizes that AJ's not paying attention, so he sets him up for a Claymore and boom, hits him and pins him 1, 2, 3. Drew McIntyre has successfully gone into and qualified for the Elimination Chamber. I'm trying not to sneeze right now. I feel a sneeze coming on. I'm trying not to sneeze in your guys' ears, so give me 1 second to mute myself. Sorry about that. I thought this was a really good match, and I say this a lot, that was taken down just a notch by the interference at the end. We didn't need LA Knight interfering, so now I assume in LA Knight's qualifying match, AJ is going to interfere, distract the referee or so forth, and cause LA Knight the match, and then maybe we just get LA Knight versus AJ in a singles match at Elimination Chamber. That's what it sounds like, or seems like we could be getting based off of the finish of this match here tonight. As we move forward, Caleb Braxton interviewed Sami Zayn in the back. Zayn said that nothing is certain in WWE, especially around WrestleMania season. Zayn noted how he was in the main event of WrestleMania last year, and this year, he's just watching, waiting, and hoping that window doesn't close, even though it's coming pretty quick. Zayn said that Randy Orton is one of the best ever to do it in the WWE, and said that he won't have an easy path to get to WrestleMania. He said, but there is a path, and I'll at least try to take it. So he's basically saying that I got to beat Randy tonight to get one step closer to WrestleMania. We then get footage, this is dope, of 2023 NASCAR Cup Series champion Ryan Blaney showing up to the building today. We knew he was there already because Triple H posted photos, or he and Triple H posted photos together earlier in the day of them in the ring. They're just talking and hanging out and whatnot, but it's really cool. This was really, really cool. Ryan Blaney, the 2023 Cup Series champion, which is like the highest honor you can have in American motorsports. In my opinion, in all motorsports, but some people do put F1 higher than NASCAR, which it's not. Really not. But yeah. Awesome to see Ryan Blaney was there. I wonder if any other drivers were there because they are in Charlotte, where most drivers do live. Most drivers live in or around the Charlotte, North Carolina area because that's where 90 to 95% of the race teams are located. whether that is Charlotte, right outside of Charlotte, in Mooresville, or even in, I think there are some teams in like Kannapolis. I know there's some in Welcome. So the RCR team's in Welcome, North Carolina. So it's like a lot of the drivers live within, right around Charlotte. So really cool to see Ryan Blaney was there. They even did a thing where like he drove his truck in and he got out of the truck and was like, oh, this is cool. I liked it. They made a big deal of him being there. They haven't shown that he's gotten a special belt yet, though. Because the last couple of years, they've presented the champion with a special belt. They presented the champion with a WWE Championship and their side plates, and special side plates with their number, just like they do for the NFL, the MLB, the NBA, Premier League, I think, as well. And so I'm like, oh, Ryan Blaney's over here walking around with just a plain World Championship Seth's belt with WWE side plates. And I'm like, oh, are they going to give him that belt with special side plates? I don't know. And then the other thing is they never give the champion their own belt when they win the title. It's always like months later when they're in Daytona. So, whatever. Just a gripe. And as you can tell, I'm kind of a NASCAR fan. If I'm going to be completely honest, I'm a bigger NASCAR fan than I am a pro wrestling fan. Yes, I have a pro wrestling channel that I talk wrestling about. I should have a NASCAR one, but that's a whole different story. But I also do run a NASCAR fantasy league, which, speaking of that, we're going to do a special live stream on Twitch later tonight, twitch.tv/TimmyBuddy, where I'm going to be creating all the new graphics for my fantasy league, and I'm going to show you guys on Twitch how I actually do all of that. So that should be really fun. Twitch.tv/TimmyBuddy a little bit later. You guys can see my process on how I go about setting up everything and refreshing everything for the year when it comes to our NASCAR Fantasy League. Because NASCAR starts not this weekend, but next weekend. We had our one preseason race last week, and now we go into the season next week. Actually, technically 2 preseason races, but one's a qualify. Anyways, I don't got to bore you guys. You guys don't, probably most of you don't know all about like the Clash and the duels and all that leading up to the Daytona 500. But what we did see here, pretty deadly. Walking around outside, looked like they were, I don't know where they were, but they were walking around outside. There's like a little gazebo area outside of a pond. And they looked up at the sky and there was Queen Elizabeth in the clouds. And I'm like, what the shit? Kit Wilson showed the effects of Pete Dunne's work on his hand last week, and it's all like, you know, Pete Dunne does the joint manipulation stuff. I thought that was pretty funny. And we've never seen somebody like sell it like that, and I think Pretty Deadly was perfect to do it, so I love that. Wilson and Princeton yelled, "Yes, boy," as the segment ended, and they were basically just like, they're going to get back to wanting to go for the tag titles. So then Tyler Bate and Pete Dunne, as well as DIY, were shown backstage warming up as they've got a match later, number 1 contendership for the tag titles. Video then played, recapping a Damage Control's breakup from last week. Bayley was shown arriving at the building from earlier in the day, and Bianca Belair made her entrance for her match. Bianca Belair did take on Michin in an Elimination Chamber qualifying match. Match itself in about 7 minutes or so. As far as that match does go, Michin started things off fast, and Belair ended up on the outside of the ring. Michin then kicked Belair, and the show went to a commercial break. The show returned with both women down in the ring. The two then traded blows until Michin landed a series of kicks and a neck breaker. Michin went for a cannonball, but Belair moved and hit a backbreaker. Belair was on the top rope, and Michin landed a superplex for a 2. Michin went for an eat defeat, but Belair countered into a KOD attempt. Michin then worked out of it, and he did the eat defeat again, but Belair rolled through and to the outside. Back inside the ring, Michin set up for a Styles Clash, but Belair back body dropped out of it, and then hit the KOD. That was it. Match was just over all of a sudden. Kind of felt abrupt, if I'm going to be honest. The end kind of was just like, there. Boom, we're done. Oh, okay, Bianca has qualified for the Women's Chamber, now putting her and Becky in the Women's Chamber match. So then, Triple H is backstage, and Braun Breaker comes in a blue suit, powder blue, baby blue suit. Actually, more like North Carolina blue. Hunter said that Braun has been impressive, and he's anxious to see what he can do on the main roster. Breakker said that he wanted to pick Hunter's brain about where he should go, Raw or SmackDown. Paul Heyman would then walk in, kind of out of nowhere, shook Braun's hand, and then Braun just left and was done. And Hunter's like, what do you need, Paul? And he's like, that kid, very impressive. He then was like, hey, I was going to come and talk to you tonight, but now I see maybe I should just give you some space. Hey, maybe we'll see you next week. Because next week, Roman Reigns, Tribal Chief, will be here on SmackDown. Paul Heyman walks off, walks back in and goes, oh yeah, and The Rock will be here as well. But next week on SmackDown, we will see both Roman Reigns and The Rock. Then we had a Bayley segment. I like this. I thought this was really good. And it's like, okay, what side is Dakota on? Is Dakota with Bayley? Is Dakota with EO? Dakota's got a choice to make here. She doesn't want to be against Bayley. She doesn't want to be against EO. And I love that now there's a struggle with somebody here on, oh crap. These two girls are like my best friends right now. Who do I choose? Who do I side with? Who do I assist? Help? Whatever you want to call it. So Bayley got in the ring and soaked in the cheers as she stood there for a moment. Bayley said that she's been having a tough time trying to put words together about what happened last week. The crowd chanted for Bayley, and Bayley smiled. Bayley said that maybe she had it coming last week. Right now, she said the fans, quote, are cool right now. Bayley noted how the fans know how much she gives to pro wrestling. Bayley said damage control meant everything to her. The crowd chants, you deserve it. Bayley said the damage control was like family to me. They were my family. She always put the group ahead of herself. She said damage control she said all damage control did was take from her, though. Bayley said that she thought her former stablemates would be happy for her after she won the Royal Rumble, but she knew that they were talking about her behind her back. Bayley said at WrestleMania, Sky is going to learn the hard way. Dakota Kai then interrupts, without music or anything, just walks out to the ring, saying that she's been worried about Bayley. Bayley's been ghosting her. Kai said that she was put in a tough spot here, but she's always believed in damage control. Bayley asked Kai why she didn't tell Bayley what was going on. Kai said that she and Bayley were like sisters, and they always had each other's back. Kai said that she wouldn't be there or be here if it wasn't for Bayley. I mean, in storyline, we're supposed to think that Dakota had been let go from the company, but Bayley brought her back. Kai touted Bayley winning the Royal Rumble, and Kai said that she thought the situation with Kairi Sane and Asuka would blow over. But, well, it didn't. And that's why she didn't tell Bayley, because she thought everything would just, work itself out. Bayley then asked Kai, where do you stand? And before Kai could give an answer, Sky's music hit, and out came Sky, Asuka, and Sane. Kai rolled out of the ring, and Sane and Asuka and Sky surrounded Bayley. Kai grabbed a chair and set up to hit, and looked like she was going to hit Bayley, but instead, Kai hit Sane and Sky with the chair. Kai looked confused and then dropped the chair like, oh crap, what have I just done? Crowd then chants, hug it out, hug it out, hug it out. Bayley's music hits, and she just looks at Dakota like, you're on my side? But I'm not going to 100% believe it until I know. Kind of look like she was reluctant to think Dakota was on her side. But now it's like, we're supposed to believe Dakota's with her. Maybe. This could all be a ruse by the Kabuki Warriors and Kairi and Dakota to make Bayley think that she's got Dakota, where Dakota is then going to try and screw her at WrestleMania. I don't know. Maybe Dakota is on Bayley's side. We'll have to wait and see. But I thought this was a really good segment. Yes, it left us with questions, but good questions. Because it's like, oh, I forgot and wasn't thinking before this, what side is Dakota going to be on? Now we're going to play that long game for the next 6 to 8 weeks or however long it is till WrestleMania of, is Bayley with Io or is Dakota with Io? Dakota with Bayley? Is she in the middle and not wanting to get involved? I like this story. I like this story because it's not just it's Bayley versus Io. No, it's a damage control storyline leading into WrestleMania. It's got everybody involved, and that's what's so great. On the back, Caleb Braxton interviewed Randy Orton. Orton recalls Zayn's words that it's not given, that people will just make it to WrestleMania. Orton recalled how he was injured and out of last year's WrestleMania. Orton said he learned patience because of that. He learned to be patient because of that. Orton said that he plans on getting to the Elimination Chamber, and he will use the 3 most destructive letters in all of sports and entertainment to do so, RKO. So then we got some qualifying matches announced for the next week of shows, Elimination or Raw and SmackDown. Let me pull those up. I didn't write them down, but I have the graphics right here. As far as Raw does go, on the men's side of things, Bronson Reed will be taking on Bobby Lashley, as LA Knight will take on Ivar. Then when we go to SmackDown next week, it's Logan Paul versus The Miz, and Kevin Owens versus Dominic Mysterio. So if I'm making predictions here, this is a tough one, but I think Bobby Lashley beats Bronson Reed, LA Knight beats Ivar, Logan Paul beats The Miz, Kevin Owens beats Dom. Then the chamber would be, because Randy Orton won, so Randy Orton, Drew McIntyre, Logan Paul, Kevin Owens, LA Knight, and Bobby Lashley. I think that is going to be... Now, if they want to go the route and have the final testament screw Bobby, and then Ivar or Bronson Reed wins, I could see that. But also, I can see Ivar winning, because I can see AJ wanting to screw LA Knight. I think LA Knight should be in the match, but I can see AJ wanting to screw LA Knight because LA Knight kind of screwed AJ. So maybe Ivar, that's another one. That's the one right there. That's the hardest for me. Because how's AJ Styles going to play into this is my question. As far as the women do go, there's 2 qualifying matches next week. We do know that Shotzi will take on Tiffany Stratton and Naomi will take on Zelina Vega. So I think Tiffany Stratton wins against Shotzi and Naomi wins against Vega is my prediction. So we move forward. We got number 1 contenders tag title match or tag team match for a number 1 contenders ship, however you want to say it. Winners face Judgment Day at Elimination Chamber. Match went 8.5 minutes. So Bate and Gargano started things out and they shook hands. They traded a ton of pinfall attempts early on. Dunn then tagged in and shoulder blocked Gargano to the canvas. Ciampa tagged in and took Dunn down before the action spilled to the outside, where things broke down and Gargano landed a splash on Bate. Gargano and Ciampa did the pat themselves on the back, yeah, kind of thing. Cheer for themselves kind of thing, basically. As we go to commercial break, back from the break, Ciampa was cleaning house and landed an inverted DDT on Bate for a 2. So we're going, and I'm like, Bate and Dunn have to win this match. Like, DIY just got a tag title shot and lost like 2 weeks ago. There's no way they're getting another one. But we're getting a good match here, so it doesn't matter. We're getting a good match, and we know we're going to get a good match at the pay-per-view. So even though the outcome was predictable here, I still thought it was a great match, and we're going to get another great match at the pay-per-view, I hope. So all 4 men were in the ring, and Gargano landed an assisted poison Rana on Dunn. Gargano hit a discus lariat on Bate. Bate then worked an airplane spin / big swing combination on both members of DIY. This was crazy to see. Dunn then got back into the mix and stomped on Gargano's hands. Ciampa tagged in and kneed Bate. Ciampa then hit the Project Ciampa on Bate for a good near fall. Bate and Ciampa, traded strikes, and Bate got the best of it until Ciampa kneed Bate in the head and tagged in Gargano. Gargano then was bleeding from the nose, I think. It looked like it. He was bleeding from somewhere in this area. I think it was his nose. Bate then hit a double clothesline on Gargano and Ciampa. Bate hit a suicide dive and on Ciampa to the outside. Meanwhile, inside the ring, Dunn landed the bitter end on Johnny and pinned him to pick up the victory and get the tag title match at the pay-per-view. There we go. We do now know who will challenge Judgment Day for the undisputed WWE Tag Team Championships. We're in the back, and Byron Saxton is interviewing Dominic Mysterio. This was almost a really good segment. The truth stuff kind of was meh at the end. So Dom said that he's going to win the Elimination Chamber. Then he's going to go on and beat Seth Rollins. Then he and Mommy are going to have matching belts. Kevin Owens then walked in and was like, "You even know you're facing next week?" "Oh, it's me." Owens said that he's going to beat Dom and he'll dedicate the match to Rey Mysterio. Dom was just like, I gotta go. And he took off. R-Truth then shows up and called Owens Miz. I think it was that. Because then I don't know. He called him Miz. Then he said something about, I don't know. I thought he said Nick. This was all kind of confusing because I couldn't really, I don't know why I couldn't like figure it out what was going on. But I think he called him Miz. Then we got a "We Want Truth" chant. And yeah. I don't know. I don't know what's going on with this. But he just randomly showed up and was like, Miz. And he's like, what? But then I thought he called him Nick. So I don't know. I was a little confused. And so was Truth. So Pierce and Aldis were in the office in the back talking. When Logan Paul would walk in and start complaining, he goes, hey, I thought you were going to, figure out who's going to challenge me next for the title, not make me have to go qualify for the Elimination Chamber. I'm a prize fighter. I'm a big time guy, and I don't just fight for free on a random show in Utah. Paul's like, I should be getting the Rock treatment. And all this is like, excuse me? Next week, you're going to have a match with somebody that you know pretty well. You'll have a qualifying match against The Miz. And I'll go, oh, Logan Paul's going to be in the chamber then, because the Miz ain't beating him. So we go to our main event. It's about 11 minutes, and it's Randy Orton versus Sami Zayn. And boy, was this match good. And then sad at the same time. Good in the retrospect of, holy crap, was this match good? But I was upset that both men are not in the chamber. I was upset that both men were not going to be in the Elimination Chamber match, and one got eliminated. I would have loved to see both Randy Orton and Sami Zayn in that chamber. Now, I still think Drew McIntyre is winning the Elimination Chamber, but to see both of them, along with Drew and the others, would have been great. Because Sami is amazing, Randy's amazing, and it's like, who are we getting instead? Like Bobby Lashley, no offense. Ivar? If we get Ivar in this match instead of Sami, granted, Ivar's been killing it recently, so this would be a great way for him to showcase himself. But I'd rather have Sami. As far as the match does go, Orton had the control early, but not for too long. Orton found himself on the outside, and Orton walked around the ring. Back in the ring, Orton worked a series of punches until Zayn turned things around and worked his own punches. Orton returned the favor and finished things with a European uppercut. They went to the outside, and Zayn hopped on the barricade and landed a moonsault to Orton. Zayn tried another dive, but Orton caught him with the forearm. Zayn then slammed Orton on the commentary table, and the show went to its final commercial break of the night. When the show returned, Zayn was pounding on Orton inside the ring. Zayn landed a tornado DDT and got a 2 off of it. Zayn went to the top, but Orton cut him off. Orton hit a superplex, and Zayn eventually did fight back with some shoulder blocks and shoulder tackles. Orton came back with a series of clotheslines and a snap power slam. Orton set up for a draping DDT, but instead, Zayn dumped Orton to the outside. Zayn then landed a suicide dive, but Orton then grabbed Sami and dropped him on the commentary table. From there, Orton basically was in control. He hit the draping DDT. Graves yelled, "Vintage Randy Orton." Thanks, Cole. Orton then set up for the RKO, but Zayn rolled Orton up for it too. Zayn followed this up with the Blue Thunder Bomb and got another good near fall off of it. Zayn tried a springboard move off the second rope, but Orton moved and then hit the RKO and pinned Sami to pick up the victory. So there we go. Randy Orton has qualified for the Elimination Chamber. After the match, Drew McIntyre would step in. Orton and McIntyre would kind of jaw jack it for a second, and then the show went off the air. Basically, Drew was just like, oh, I got to fight you, okay. Blah, 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 blah. And then they jaw jacked for a little bit. That's the show went off the air. But overall, I thought this was a really, really good episode of SmackDown. Really entertaining. Overall, I'd give it 2 thumbs up. Like, if I had to give this show a rating out of 10, let's say we give 5 stars. Say we do 5 stars, probably give us a 4.5. I'd probably give this episode of SmackDown a 4.5 overall. But with that, let me throw the Twitch poll up really fast. What did you think of Smackdown? I liked it. It was all right. I didn't like it. So go vote there if you're watching on Twitch, and we'll go check the other polls in the meantime. So let's refresh Twitter, refresh threads, refresh the YouTube community tab. As far as the Twitter poll does go, Twitter X poll, 63% liked Smackdown, 21% thought it was just all right, and 15% didn't like it. As far as the threads poll does go, 58% liked the show. A weird font on their poll to make it a little hard to read. 58% liked the show, 25% thought it was just all right, and 17% didn't like it. As far as the YouTube community poll does go, 82% liked the show, 13% thought it was just all right, and 5% didn't like it. Couple of comments here says, unbelievable now that Bianca Belair is qualified. Zoe Stark needs to qualify to beat Liv Morgan. I think Liv beats Zoe Stark. That's kind of a given. This person says matches were fire. This person says I liked it, and this person says 7 out of 10. As far as the YouTube live poll does go, 79% liked the show, 17% thought it was just all right, and 3% didn't like it. Finally, the Twitch poll, 80% liked it, 20% thought it was just all right. With that, guys, that's going to wrap everything up. Remember, like I said, I'm going to be doing a cool stream a little bit later, twitch.tv/TimmyBuddy. We're going to do some graphic design stuff. Then we're going to play some games because we need to play Fortnite. Shredder is in Fortnite. We need to play that. We're going to do that. We're going to do a couple different things over there on Twitch, have some fun, and hang out. Then tomorrow night, also twitch.tv/TimmyBuddy, I'm doing a huge family game night. We're going to set up a bunch of cameras. We're going to there's going to be like 6 of us all together, and we're going to play board games all night or afternoon. I don't know exactly what time we're starting. So keep it locked on the community tab on YouTube. Keep it locked on Twitter, and then also just follow the channel at TimmyBuddy on Twitch, so that way you know when we go live tomorrow, because we're doing a big old live stream for we're doing board games and like a family competition thing with these board games and whatnot, like we have done in the past with me and the kids. We're adding some more people to the mix as well. So with that, guys, have a great rest of your night. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you next time. Have a good one, guys.